I think we can go ahead and get started. We may have a few more people log on. So welcome to the October meeting of WiVLA. I'm Melody Locke. I'm the current WiVLA president. And before we get started, we always like to remind ourselves what our mission statement is. And I believe this evening, Margot, it will be reading the mission statement. Is that true, Margot?
Yeah. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
WiVLA's mission is to provide an inspiring forum for women to explore and advance their creative development, to promote their work in the workplace, marketplace, and to infuse the community with their spirit of cooperation and invention.
Great, thank you. So do we have any guests or new members on the call this evening? No.
I'm actually new to the meeting, but
Okay.
I've been a member for a couple of years.
Well,
Welcome.
yeah.
My name is Tracy Meyer, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I'm sorry for my lack of appearance, but often I'm traveling and then I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, I've been to a couple of workshops and studio visits and the Christmas, for want of a better word, bazaar. But you know, I'm sorry that I'm not good in my attendance. But here I am today.
Well, the good news is we don't take attendance. So
Oh, good.
so we only take attendance during board meetings. So
Okay.
you're good. You're good. Well, thank you. We're glad you're here with us this evening. And I think I know everybody else on the call. Elisa is not here. She's our visual chair this year. But we have updated our sign-up sheet for signing up for the virtual gallery. So I believe, and I'm going from memory here, that only one person has signed up for the January, February slot. And so I believe we have one visual and one literary slot remaining. So you can sign up for several months into 2023. You can believe it. We're talking about 2023.
Yeah.
But we're good for the remainder of the year.
Okay.
We've got some literary things going on. Ellen, would you like to share some information about our literary activities?
You would like me to talk about haunted holidays? I don't know why you would call on me for that. But yes, we have an event coming up, and it's going to be in person, one of our rare in-person events. And it's going to take place at Brazos Bookstore on November 5th at 6:30 to 8. And it's called Haunted Holidays. And I believe we have people signed up to read, and I believe all the slots are full. There may be one if you contact me and I look real close, but I really think all the slots are full. We're doing this in combination with Brazos Bookstore and with the Houston Writers Guild. So, you know, Fern and that group will be in this as well. So it's a lot of fun. It's going to be spooky stories from Halloween to New Year's Eve, all the holidays. They all get haunted. They all have their own ghosts. Some travel from one holiday to another. You just never know what to expect. So it'll be great fun. And yes, you will see me in this hat. And you just might see my friend there as well. She might also read. So I encourage everybody to come for that. November 5th, 6:30, Brazos Bookstore. Yes, even if you're not reading, you can still come in costume.
Okay.
Saying,
Yes.
we're very open. Yeah, we're very nice.
Yeah. We welcome all non-readers, and you don't have to be in costume, but you can.
Yes.
You can dress appropriately. Okay. And
Do you want me to talk about what if?
I'd love you to just keep going.
Okay, our member meeting in November, it is going to be back on Zoom, but it is our annual literary meeting where, again, people volunteer, and I think there are plenty of slots left for this at this. We're all going to write about the theme of what if. Go anywhere you want to with that. It'll be in the middle of the holidays. It'll be after the election. It'll be all kinds of stuff. So what if, each reading should last 5 minutes. That's a very good time. Or you can do essays or poems. And of course, if you're doing poetry and you've got 5 minutes, you could do 2, 3 if they're short. Haikus, you could do 5. So, sign up for whatever your specialty is, as long as it fits within 5 minutes. What if, go with that wherever you want to go. And we hope you will sign up for that. And that is our next meeting, our November meeting, which is, I want to say November 17th. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe it's the 15th, but
15th.
just a second.
You would think
I've been wrong before. It's the 15th.
15th. And that will be here on Zoom at 6 o'clock. And again, you can wear costumes if you want, but you're on Zoom, so we really just need the hats.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
There's instructions and more information on our calendar. How to, where exactly the bookstore is if you haven't been there. So check out the calendar for these events. There should also be links to Sign Up Genius to sign up to read for these events. And speaking of events, we've got a collaboration, and it's in progress. It's moving along. I believe in my heart that the catalog is in production. Haven't heard otherwise. So we're busy getting ready for the exhibition itself. And I believe we probably talked last month about transportation to get to the reception on December 3rd. So it is at Lee College in Baytown. For those of you who have not been there, are uncomfortable driving that far, we are working with Harris County to get a bus. I believe, and Margot, correct me if I'm wrong, we're looking at 30 or 35 seat bus. Is that what we're looking at?
I don't know. June and Gretchen are the bus matrons.
And it's going to be about, this is Gladys Mabel, it's going to be, I think June said 38 is what we kind of talked about last week at the board meeting, 38.
Okay.
So there is an age requirement. You have to be at least 50 to get on the bus, but you can sign up to bring a spouse, and we will have that sign up information on the calendar. Actually, I think I put something up there. I put reservations on the calendar yesterday, so you can go and sign up for a ride. If you're too young to get on the bus, there's instructions on how to get there as well. You might want to carpool just to make it a more fun ride.
And the reason behind the age limit on the buses, these buses are part of the county's senior programs. So that's why you have to be 50. It's not that we don't want people under 50 attending.
Oh, no, we want lots of people attending. It's going to be a great show. It's a great space. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I have seen all the visual and literary pieces, and the only thing I can say is I advise you to bring some Kleenex. But I think it's going to be great. So there will be more information about that coming in the newsletter, but always check out the calendar. Let me see. Oh, and as always, any news you have about activities that you're involved in, shows, readings, so forth, please send that information to newsletter@wivla.org.
Okay.
And we'll have a few minutes at the end of our meeting tonight, so you can share some of that information, but please, it's great to have it in ones and zeros in the newsletter. Oh, and speaking of elections, we are having elections here as well. And so I am working with Gretchen to build a slate, and we still have some positions open. So if you have any interest, please contact me. I've got to say, it has been so fun being on the board. I've been on the board for 5 years as treasurer, vice president, and president. And it's great being in on the planning and behind the scenes. And the best benefit is you get to know so many people. I feel like I've gotten to know more people being on the board than when I wasn't on the board. So that is a super benefit. So I encourage you to look into this fun opportunity. If it wasn't a fun opportunity, I wouldn't have been doing it for 5 years. And I still got 1 more year to go. Anyway, so don't flood my inbox. Y'all just send emails, just like space them out every hour, so I'm not inundated with your request to be on the board. All right. With that, I think I'm going to turn the meeting over to Margot. I think we've got some information about meetings and parties.
Yes, okay. So Ellen has already talked about the November reading. I looked on the calendar and we only had 3 people sign up. So please get your name on the list to read. The topic is what if. If that does not inspire you to write something, just think about, doesn't most fiction start out with that question, what if? And if you still don't want to write something like that, you could always start your piece with, what if my parents had not met? What if I had not been born? Well, they did, and I was, and here's my story. So if everybody starts their story like that, I think that'd be awesome. So be sure to sign up for that. Okay, in December, on December the 11th, Sunday, December the 11th, from 2 to 5, we're going to have a holiday happy hour finger food potluck at Silver Street Art Studios. It's on the calendar, and we'll have a sign up genius to sign up for what kind of food you would like to bring. But I will put my email address in the chat, or you can find it in the membership directory. If you have ideas for like activities where we meet and mingle, please send them to me. If you just leave it up to me, it's going to be lame. So the 2 things I've thought about is, that old game where you arrive, somebody puts a famous name of a famous woman on your back, and then you have to walk around asking questions to figure out who you are. But somebody else on the board had mentioned doing a sort of a speed dating. And I think a speed dating paired with an elevator pitch, that could be fun. So you could get to know a lot of the WiVLA members. So plan to come out. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. Then we also have the International Quilt Festival. And I believe that is it's Friday, November the 4th and Sunday, November the 6th. It's on the calendar. And if you would like to carpool, people are meeting up at Silver Street Art Studios. Is that correct?
Yeah. And I think
Friday the 4th at 10 a.m. and then Sunday the 6th at noon. And so that should be a lot of fun. All right. So remember to check the calendar and sign up for events. And so we have a lot of fun things going on. Now I would like to introduce our speaker, Alli Villines. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Alli is a Houston-based musician, actor, puppeteer, and singer-songwriter. Some of her favorite Houston credits include Horsehead Theater. She's won all kind of awards. She's does music for Catastrophic Theater. And my roommates and I, and one of my roommates' parents, we watched the last streaming Tamarie Cooper show. I was so excited to see Alli's name in the credits. I'm like, oh my God, Alli's in the credit. I mean, she's everywhere. She does frame dance, METROdances. She does all kind of things in addition, and she plays ukulele in addition to doing the Cranky stories through lo-fi puppets. And I met Alli in the storytelling class last spring, and I was just blown away by her singing, her music, her stories. So I'm just really thrilled that she's here tonight. So take it away.
Thank you. I'm like, the sun, it's beautiful, but I'm in the rays right now. Okay, hello, hi. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Margot, for that introduction. Now I feel like it's really dark. I love natural light, so I kind of miss it, but thank you for having me to talk today about Crankies. And we'll dive into that in just a second. As Margaret said, I would primarily call myself a musician, so I kind of feel like I'm infiltrating your meeting right now, literary and visual arts. But among other things, yes, I studied music in school, and I'm a voice teacher, a teaching artist. I teach voice and ukulele, as well as work with Children's Memorial Hermann, going into patients' rooms and playing with the kiddos. I am also the executive whimsist is the title that I came up with for myself, because if you're gonna like own a company, why not call yourself what you want to be called? So I am the executive whimsist of lo-fi puppets and stuff, along with Greg Cote. Greg started this puppet company in 2019 and asked me to join him. My journey with puppetry began at a pretty early age. I loved Sesame Street, but I guess it started in earnest when I was about 26, and I worked for Busch Gardens Williamsburg as a Sesame Street costume character. So those were full body costumes, but Oscar the Grouch was a, you know, what we normally think of as a puppet. He was not full body. So I had his arm in one and his head in another. So I got to learn puppetry on Oscar the Grouch, and then I went on to do some film for puppetry, and then in grad school, even more puppetry classes, learning how to make and how to perform and how to use puppetry in education. Fast forward, oh yeah, grad school is where I really fell in love with shadow puppetry. So of the styles of puppetry, I would say shadow puppetry is probably my favorite. So fast forward to lo-fi puppets, and I've moved to Houston, and I've started this puppet company with Greg Cote. And we both have our different styles of puppetry that we enjoy. And Greg introduced me to this thing called a cranky box, or Crankies. And I just fell in love. He said it was a way to, you know, showcase shadow puppets sometimes. You don't have to use shadow puppets with a cranky, but you can. So yeah. So give me a second, because I do have to, everybody cover your eyes if you get motion sickness. I'm moving the camera. Okay, so instead of making my life easy, my friend Juan says I make everything way too hard on myself. PowerPoint would just be too easy. So my presentation is in the form of a cranky. Okay. This is called Cranky Stories, Creativity on a Roll. Artwork by me. So this is a Cranky. It is a scroll of artwork that you put between two spools and you hand crank the artwork and it passes by in the viewing area. Okay, so what is a Cranky? Thinking into the box. I got puns tonight, so I hope you're ready. This is a Cranky box. This is a Cranky box that mostly Greg made this. This one is made of wood. A Cranky, as I said, is a long piece, strip of artwork. It can be on paper, it can be on fabric, it can be any number of materials, how you would showcase the artwork, but it's usually a long scroll that you hand crank the scroll and it passes by a viewing box. This is my little turtle friend, Tommy. Yes, so I hope that you all got a chance to watch one of Lo-Fi Puppets' Crankies. They are on YouTube. I think Margot sent out a link. There are currently 7 episodes on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to watch an episode, then this is possibly your first viewing of a Cranky. So I hope you enjoy. Okay. So this is a Cranky box. They come in all kinds of sizes. I will show you a little later, but also I made this one out of, you can see it's out of cardboard. Greg and I made this together 2 weeks ago. It's not near as big as this one. And Greg challenged me to make a different shape for the viewing. So I took him up on that. But I'll show you the inside. So we've got, you don't have to have 4 spools, but you need tension, right, in order for the scroll to go by. So with a little deeper box, you do want to have 4 spools. And so that's how that looks on the inside. You load it in one side, put it through, go to the other side, put it through, crank, and then you turn and it cranks your artwork by. So there's another size. They can be like in the late 19th century or early 20th century. They were like whole rooms, but they can also be as tiny as a matchbox. And I'll show you my matchbox Cranky in a little bit. So that's our Cranky. As I said before, Crankies are also a great way to showcase shadow puppetry. You can have, a beautiful landscape and you're telling a story. Oftentimes, Cranky boxes, certainly you can just crank the artwork by and that's wonderful, right? The viewer can enjoy the artwork, but oftentimes they are accompanied by a storyteller, or music, sometimes and music. For lo-fi puppets and stuff, Crankies of Curiosity, we talk about curious creatures. So we have a story about creatures as well as music. But we also love, because we are a puppet company, to bring in some shadow puppetry. So here's a nice little family that I made, literally out of a Life cereal box. We at Lo-Fi Puppets like to use found objects. We like to use recyclable, sustainable. Here are my grandparents. So you can see that, yeah, this is a great way to tell a story, or, and one more, got a little duck. Or teach. It's a great teaching tool. So that's what a Cranky box is. Did you go? I don't want to turn you the other way. I like watercolors, so I used watercolors. Okay, a brief history. Scroll back. Told you she's got puns. Actually, my husband wrote the puns. Okay, so Crankies were not known as Crankies until like the late 1960s. Peter Schumann of Bread and Puppet Company, Bread and Puppet Theater Company, he coined the term Crankies or Cranky, which can be spelled C-R-A-N-K-Y or I-E. But before that, they were known as moving panoramas. So this is before movies. They popped up in Europe in the 18th century. However, much like everything, lots of cultures have a tradition of this style of storytelling. Asian cultures, there are scrolls, right? Even when I think about like, if we think about like the history of shadow puppetry, there are theories that like cave drawings may have been shadow puppetry, right? Because you use your hands over the fire and maybe they, you know, traced what was from the fire. So lots of cultures have some tradition of this type of storytelling. In Western tradition, these popped up in Europe in the 18th century, as I said, and they were called moving panoramas. They were in their heyday in the 19th century. As I said, they grew, you know, standard size box, tiny box, all the way to like people would go to theaters and the entire stage was a cranky, a giant scroll that just passed by and wowed the audiences, and they told stories, and there may be actors or maybe not, you know, just a moving picture before there were moving pictures, moving illustrations. If you want to learn more, I am not a historian in Cranky lore, but if you want to learn more, I highly recommend Sue Truman. She has a fantastic website, which I actually will be sharing with you a little later. And she's got just everything on the history of Crankies that you would want to know, and some great pictures of the full stage Crankies, all the way to like the tiniest Crankies that were sort of like gifts. It could be a gift to a loved one, or you know, a plaything for children in the 19th century and early 20th century. I fell out of fashion, obviously, when we got actual moving pictures, and then just kind of laid low for a while, but had a resurgence in the 60s. And as I said, Peter Schumann of Bread and Puppet Theater coined the phrase cranky because it is hand cranked, and the crank, the person cranking is called the crankster. So there's a title and everything. But so that is a brief history. I saw something popping up in the chat, and I'm wondering if I should like check it. Let me check it really quick, because I don't know. I'm super open to questions, but I won't have all the answers. Bread and Puppet Studio burned down, but I visited once a month before it burned. Oh, that's amazing. Have several photos. Okay, Jerry. I will get with you about that. Okay, thank you. Yes. So there's a brief history. Again, Sue Truman. I'll be showing the website. I'll be sharing screen and showing the website a little bit later. Y'all, I don't know if this is going to be 20 minutes or 45 minutes. I just can't imagine talking for 45 minutes. But here we go. Let's keep scrolling. Women who crank. Okay. There's my sad little Rosie. Drawing is not my medium. That's what I'll say. When I said I'm not an artist, I am an artist. I am not a visual artist. Drawing is not my medium. Okay, so one of the things I failed to mention, but I wanted to mention, is when Crankies were in their heyday, they were always advertised to little boys. They were in, and Sue Truman goes over this in her history of Crankies. They were in all of the boys' magazines. They were in the little boys' encyclopedia, like a smart lad could make this, right? Not a smart lass. But there are some, because we are in this wonderful forum with women, I wanted to highlight some women who are out there making Crankies other than myself. So a couple, actually there are three that I wanted to highlight. So Sue Truman, which I think I actually will go ahead and I have a couple of videos to share because I want to give credit where credit is due. And Lo-Fi Puppets did not come up with this thing. There are amazing people who are doing this work long before we were. So Sue Truman is like the crankster on the scene and has been for maybe 2 decades. So I want to share one of the things she made over the pandemic, one of the Crankies that she made over the pandemic that is just delightful to show you. You see mine, and it's wood and it's paper and it's watercolors. This is a great example of using different materials, because really all you need is something that could be a box, right? So I showed you my matchbox. I showed you like that was like a wine box or some random box, right? This is a box that we made out of wood. This Cranky, let me do the share screen thing and share the sound and share. So this Cranky uses a suitcase and material. Cranky box. It's so meta. Look at this, a Cranky within a Cranky. Yes, and that is Sue's big thing. She goes to festivals, she hosts online workshops, she hosts in-person workshops. She says, make a Cranky. Sue Truman. So I just love that. And that also was an example of you using your Cranky like a toy theater. So she made a Cranky out of that suitcase, and instead of paper and backlighting and shadow puppets, she used it as a miniature toy theater. She made that little suitcase, she made that little couch, she used felt, and so yeah, it can be anything. Like imagination, it can be anything that you can. It can be anything that you can make it, right? So Sue Truman, she is also a musician, and she has some wonderful Crankies that I encourage you. She's on TikTok, she's on YouTube, and her website, I believe, is thecrankyfactory.com. I'll put it in the chat. The Cranky, how does she spell it? IE. All right, Sue. Cranky Factory. This is how nervous I am. I can't remember the website. Crankyfactory.com. Okay. Sue Truman. She's great. She's been doing it for 20 years. And her sort of claim to fame, other than being like the crankster, is she was the first to use clothespins for her handle. Just kind of fun, and yeah. Okay, so Sue Truman, another one that I wanted to highlight that I love and follow on Instagram. Here for the trivia, thanks Elizabeth. Catherine Fahey. So she's a student of Sue Truman, and Catherine Fahey does this remarkable stuff with shadow puppetry in her Crankies, and you just watch a scene go by, and she uses like this really fantastic, I don't even know what the material is, but Catherine Fahey, I follow her on Instagram. She's on, I'm sure she's on YouTube as well. And the Cranksters are having a really good, it's being well received on TikTok. So maybe you'll see lo-fi puppets on TikTok very soon. And then the last one that I wanted to highlight, Sue Truman, Catherine Fahey, and Bronia Ebers. She's in Europe, and she, I'm going to share a screen one more time, and for now, and she gives this wonderful, this is her website. She does cranky stories and puppet stories. So this is just a little example of some of her work. And then I thought I'd show this little video. Look at this. I mean, look at that. That's it.
Cranky is a form of visual storytelling. It has two main parts. There's a scroll, which is usually made of paper or sometimes fabric, and that scroll will be illustrated with images that help to tell a story. And the scroll is fed through a box, and it's cranked with handles through the box. There is a tradition of cranky making that goes back to the Victorian era, and the Victorians called them moving panoramas, amongst other names. Moving panoramas could be, sometimes they were really small, kind of matchbox sized and made for children and as toys. They were medium scale moving panoramas, which showmen would take touring into people's houses.
Of course it did that. But she's going to say a lot of the things that I've said. So I just wanted to show, so I mean, again, the sky's the limit. The artwork, like whatever your medium is, whatever your style is, it's going to work for this. With whatever story you want to tell, right? So lo-fi puppets, we love to do things that are a little more creepy. Well, Greg loves the creepy, I'm the whimsy. No, we blur those lines, but you know, or I've had ideas for Crankies of like, well, tonight's thing, right? I'm presenting the Cranky to you, so it can be an informative tool too. I think it would be great in a lesson plan. You know, when I was in grad school, I took a puppetry class, and we made it was puppetry in education, and we had every puppet we made had to have a lesson plan. And this girl made a vagina puppet, and the lesson plan was like for 6th grade girls, and it was sex ed, and it was the best puppet. So I can see like Cranky, anything that is a story or information that you want to get across, like you can tell that through a cranky box. Okay, so I wanted to highlight those women because lots of people came before me to do this thing, and I want to support other women in their work. Okay, so back to, okay, get ready for a little motion. Whoa, I don't have 2 cameras. Whoa! Okay, is everybody okay? Okay, we're back. So those are a few, there are so many more, but just a few where you can like go to their website and check them out, or look them up on YouTube or on TikTok or social media of choice. Okay, building a cranky. How to make a spool yourself. Okay, so I'm coming back, but I'll do it here. So I've got my little matchbox cranky, and this isn't even like the tiny matchboxes. You can see it is. Here are the matches. I made this in literally, I don't know, half an hour on Sunday. So here's my little matchbox cranky, and you can do this too. Okay, and to be even more meta, I wanted to show you how I made it with a cranky. Okay, I'm gonna block that. Because it's not mirror, I don't like, oh, puppeteer. Okay, there we go. Alli, stay steady, stay steady. There we go. All right, Alli's first match box. Oh my gosh, why is this so hard? Cranky, I did it. Okay, these are the materials for this particular thing. As I showed you, you can make one out of wood, you can make one out of a suitcase, you can make it out of cardboard, you can make it out of any box, cereal box. There's videos on YouTube how to make a cranky, right? So for this one, matchbox, bamboo skewers that you can totally get at like HEB, bamboo skewers, scissors, tape, wire snippers to cut the bamboo, paper. This are white butcher paper that I got at Uline. Oops, sorry. I can't read it. Anyway, I write really small. Color pencils, pencil, tape, and what's that last one? Ruler. You gotta have a ruler. So you may, it's hard to read. Matchbox, yes. Thank you. It is hard to read. I can, thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, so those are the materials, and I'm gonna scroll on. I'm gonna take it apart for you. Okay, so first you cut the viewing rectangle, right? Take your scissors, you take the matches out, cut a little viewing hole. Then you gotta poke 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. Then then you gotta measure out your paper. It's so small you can't fit a lot of paper in this. Right, it's only gonna, so much paper is gonna fit in there. Then you draw, you make your artwork on your paper, and then you have you put the scroll in, and you tape the scroll onto the skewer, and then there you are. Like that's it. You are here. There's one more thing. Oh, there's my little theme. Okay, so let me take it apart for y'all. There's the, I know it's really hard to see. There's the tape. Woo! Did you hear that? Skewer. Now it's going to be taped on, so that's kind of, but yeah, that's it. And I built this using a literal 2-minute video that Sue Truman posted on TikTok, and it's also on YouTube, to learn how to make this particular style of cranky, a matchbox cranky. She says they're great gifts. It's just cute. At Lo-Fi Puppets, our big thing is make cool stuff. It doesn't have to be for anything. Like, let's just create art because we live in this world, because we're here. Like, so we just like to make cool stuff and not necessarily make money. It's great when we do, but you know, we're just making things that we want to make and that make us happy. Maybe it spreads some joy to other people. Okay, that's how to make a cranky. I know that was really fast, but there's a video for the Matchbox. There's also lots of instructions. Again, Sue Truman, on her website, she's got instructions. She's got videos and instructions on how to make a bigger cranky. Okay. Okay. Now maybe I just Alli, lo-fi, crankies, and I cut out for this. Okay. I don't know where I need my sheet. I need my piece of paper. Okay, so we did our first cranky at the Houston Fringe Festival in November 2019, when everything was possible. It was called Pond Scum, and it was based on a story that I had written about about my time, something that happened in Louisiana, where one summer my dad, there was a pond in our backyard, and lots of antics and funny things happened around the pond. So I wrote a story about this one particular thing that happened, where my dad one summer bought ducks. I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful to have ducks? And it was fine, but also it was a big mess. And anyway, the story was about this little duck that my mom and my aunt, like, it kept coming up on the shore to them, and my mom would say, oh, look at you, little fella, no, go back in the water. And she put the duck back in the water. And then the little duckling would come up a second time. No, go back in. And she put the duckling back in the water. Third time the duck comes, my mom does the same thing. And they're like, what's going on with this duck? Puts the duckling back in the water. And then the duckling goes bloop. And we never saw the duckling again. Funny, tragic, real life story, right? So that was our very first cranky. That cranky box was made out of a suitcase. And Greg built the cranky box and did all the artwork. As you can see, these are the actual like shadow puppets that we used. Literally a life cereal box. Also, one of these was checks. So making out of cereal boxes the shadow puppets for and these are the ones that we used in November 2019. Okay, so then we all know what happened. There was so much promise, and we're going to do more crankies, and we built a thing where we could go out to parks and perform for people and just be a thing that pops up. Okay, we're doing puppetry shows live. Nah, okay, didn't happen. I'm gonna come back actually and talk to y'all. This is so we as sort of a pivot. There was so much pivoting in 2020 and 2021 for all artists. For us at Lo-Fi, we decided to take our crankies online and have it be an online offering. So we got to work. Greg had this great idea for curious creatures, right? Crankies of Curiosity, curious creatures. And so we made a list. There was lots of storyboarding. There was lots of research. Greg did all this research on these. Our curious creatures are both mythical and some real, extinct, or they exist now. Just things that we think are kind of curious. So there are 10 episodes total. There are 7 out now. So before the end of the year, there will be 3 more for you to enjoy. So Greg did the research and sent me all of just Google Docs of research, right? I took the research and I made it into a script. We said, okay, who do we want? Or it's not going to be us every time, right? We want to like get somebody. We know a lot of actors because we're both actors, and in the theater scene. So every episode has a different voice actor, which I'm really proud of because we weren't able to pay them much, but we did pay them to come, masked and all. Everyone came individually, and this was in October of 2021. I recorded everyone here in my little apartment home studio, recorded everyone doing their scripts, and Greg was working on the artwork. And once the drawings were done, we sort of split the scrolls, and he would paint half and I would paint half, because I really do love doing watercolors. I'm not anything special, but it's very soothing to me. And just another way to be a part of the project. So scripts are done, actors recorded, we're working on the artwork, and we released our first episode. I don't even remember when it was. I want to say January 2022, but it might have been December of 2021. So yeah, and you'll see if you watch, the episodes are 5 to 9 minutes, like they're very short episodes, but we pack a lot of information. They're very informative. The first episode is about Bigfoot, and it's a really fun episode. Once Greg did the crank and we started incorporating more and more shadow puppetry, and you'll see with the ones that we're about to release and the last two, we start incorporating elements of toy theater as well. So we're doing Cranky, we're doing shadow puppetry, we're doing toy theater to help tell the story of whatever curious creature of the month we're on. So, final thing. So Greg will record the crank and perform. He is the crankster, so he'll perform. And once the video is shot, he sends it over to me and I compose the music. And I don't really compose anything until I see the video, and then I watch the video several times and get on my ukulele or my keyboard, or I just kind of write what I see and try and time it really nicely with the story that's being told about Bigfoot, about the Impundulu, about Fresno night crawlers, about the jackalope, right? Some of them are quite zany, some of them are quite creepy. So I do hope that you'll go check them out. I mean, my hope for Crankies going forward is that we can perform them live, whether that be in a gallery or maybe it's like a weekend thing of like, come, and the scrolls are just out. Maybe we load the scroll up for you and you can crank it yourself. There are lots of ways we could go with that, but we do want to continue offering the online so that our Crankies can be out in the world, just like the cranksters who came before us. Okay, that's my presentation, and I kind of feel like this is fascinating. I can't wait to play around with Crankies. Oh God, thank you so much. Thank you, Melissa. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I hope that you all will. I can show you. Actually, I'm going to drop it in the chat. This link to Sue Truman's making a cranky box, a matchbox cranky. If you want to make a cranky with us, with lo-fi, we will be presenting at Zine Fest this year on Saturday, November 12th. From 12 to 6, we'll be tabling. And we will also be leading a short workshop, and we will make Crankies together. Greg came up with this great, fantastic, on-the-go Cranky, designed, like did the measurements, all these wonderful things that is actually like paper. So, but we have the kit for you. You can come to our table or come sign up for the workshop. We've got a kit for you, all the materials that you'll need if you want to come in person and make a Cranky with us. Yeah, we'll be tabling at Zine Fest November 12th, Saturday from 12 to 6 p.m. at the Orange Show. And we do really hope to get out in the community more and share what we've learned and share. We just want people to make cool stuff. We want to continue making cool stuff. We think that art should be accessible for all, and that is really part of our mission. So I'm gonna, wow, I kind of can't believe I talked for that long. I'm gonna open it up if anybody has questions. I can't guarantee I'll have answers, but that's Crankies.
Alli, you mentioned that before moving pictures, that there were Crankies on a stage.
Yes.
I mean, that just blows my mind. So do you have any idea of the mechanics of how that was done?
I don't, but you know what? I'll tell y'all a secret. I've talked with a local like set designer who is really into Crankies, that we are seriously thinking about, like, can we make a show where the stage is, I mean, this is like pre-automaton, right? And if you look up Sue Truman, Catherine Fahey does this too. They'll use some automaton stuff along with their Crankies. So there's hand crank, but there's also some so anyway, I do want to, I'll share my screen real quick again to show you this picture that Sue Truman has on her, where is it? No, where are they? No. This is a great website, a great resource. Civil War. Look at this history section. Like, my goodness, her font is a little small, but they're all sizes. Cranky history section. Okay, there. Look at this. That's a medium size. As soon as I saw that picture, I thought of MC Escher's Metamorphosis. Like, when you love to see that piece of artwork scroll by. And then this says, like, this was presented at the 1900 Paris Exposition. This is polyaroma. Here's the picture of that whole stage was a crank. I imagine, now this is, I can't actually answer your question of what the mechanics were, but I do imagine that for something like this, it takes multiple people to crank. And there's probably, because you have to have so much tension, I imagine that there's more mechanics, but I do believe it's still like somebody's or multiple people are cranking the artwork along.
Oh my God, I would love to see that.
Right?
I hope it works out for you guys. Keep us posted.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely will. Yeah. There lots of ideas percolating, you know.
So y'all are presenting at the Zine Festival on the 12th?
Yes, we
of
are.
November?
From 12 to 6 and number 12. It's like,
yes. It's at the Orange Show.
okay.
And as I said, we'll have pre-made kits. I mean, the Cranky won't be made. We'll have your kit, and you can make your Cranky. We can walk you through making your Cranky. It's going to have instructions. That's like kind of part of our zine is how to make the Cranky. So, and then you can make your own Cranky, and it's about that big, like the scroll. So,
oh my gosh.
yeah, you can draw whatever you want, tell whatever story you want. I think it's fun, it's whimsical, and I think it can be a great educational tool as well.
So
So
when
are-
you were,
Oh, go ahead, Carolyn. Go ahead.
so
Go
when
ahead.
you were talking about the shadow puppets and doing the shadow images, do you have like an extra bulb in the back of the cranky or something that gives that very well defined, or does it not have a back and that's where the light comes in?
Yes, thank you. Great question. Yes, it does not have a back. And today I used my little lamp to backlight it. We have used, and the early Crankies, they put candlelight behind it. And that's true for shadow puppetry. So you've got your light behind. And you'll see in some of our more recent episodes, we have actually converted our Cranky to be a toy theater / Cranky box. So we have front lighting as well as backlighting for the purposes of shadow puppetry.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So this Melody, are you doing things with kids on making some of these? I mean, you've got these kits. I was just wondering.
Yeah. So I've not brought Crankies to the hospital because, well, mostly because I bring my ukulele, and it's a trauma 1 hospital. So I don't get, usually if I see a kiddo, I probably won't see them again. If I see them again, it's not great. But I definitely have ideas of bringing the Cranky into my work at the hospital. And I think I do a lot of work with like the child life specialist. I think that it could be a way, if a kiddo is about to have an IV, right? It could be another method of explaining what's going to happen, which is a child life. Like, that is not my job. That's not what I do. I go and I play music. If they want to play Barbies, I play Barbies. Like, you know, I have done a little puppetry with kiddos, but Greg teaches at a private school in town, and he has made Cranky, like his students make Crankies. So yeah, I haven't gotten the opportunity, but I know that, you know, even if I brought a bunch of, well, I probably couldn't bring matches to the hospital, but I do think, yeah, I just see the opportunity everywhere. Great in schools, even if it were like a workshop, we would love to, or at the library, or, you know, like, we do hope, as I said, to like get more out into the community and like do little workshops, like let's make a Cranky, you know, like I said, this one, I made this Sunday, like in preparation for this presentation. And I just sat here and I watched Sue's video. It's 2 minutes long. I watched it a few times, and then I had my own little Cranky box, you know, that might not last, but it might if I reinforce it or whatever. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful, but I think the thing that I love the most about it is, like, I mean, you're engaged. I think most of you are like engaged, like you think this is kind of cool. So it's like, yes, for kids, but also like adults, which I think is why our Crankies of Curiosity, like, there's nothing like vulgar or bad language or anything. Like, kids can definitely watch it, but I think it's like just as interesting or entertaining for the adults. And I think
I was looking at that one of Sue's, and it kind of was like a Cranky with a diorama almost, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the kids do in school anymore, but I remember having to make some of those dioramas when I was a kid. I was just no good at that. But this would have been better. This would have been a better option for someone like me.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be it could be just a wonderful teaching aid for kids as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just reading some of the comments, and thank you all so much. Yeah, I love the sound. So along with the music and the voiceover, we actually do keep a little bit of the sound of the paper being cranked in our videos because we also love the sound of the paper sliding by. Like, so soundscape, like that, it's all part of it. It's all part of the performance, even, loading the spool into the box, it's all. Did you send me the name of the women cranksters? Yes, I will. Thank you. Versatile, how versatile. Yes, you can have all tech, right? I wrote my little titles and I did my watercolor backwash, but I didn't do too much like artwork. You can have text, you can have images, you can blend it, you can have silence and just hear the paper, you can have voiceover telling the story, or you can just have music. It is incredibly versatile. Thank you, Elizabeth. I think every kid can relate. Yes, they all know screens. Oh, I think about my niece and how she just can't let go of her iPad. Yeah, they know screens very well. Yes, so that, yes, they can, yeah, that we all can tell our own story. Kids included, adults included. Are you submitting your Crankies to film festivals? I don't think we've talked about that.
Yeah, check out some. I mean, there's so many film festivals that are looking for short, short content. And I think your curious creatures. I mean, it's so fascinating. I'm just fascinated by the creatures that you choose, and the one you wrote about the creature in Australia. I thought that is really wild.
The thylacine, the one that went extinct.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
and you know what? A week after we released that Cranky, I saw a headline that said scientists are trying to bring back the thylacine.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic Park style. So I was like, oh my gosh, like we're trendsetters. But yeah, I mean, Greg chose some things that I hadn't even heard of. I'd never heard of the Impundulu. And we did take pains to hire an actress from Africa to talk about this African mythical creature. So we really do, we as diverse as the creatures are, we want to hire that diversity in our actors. And but yeah, I think one goal for me is after all of the episodes are out to release the music, so people can, like, of course I want everyone to like watch the Cranky, but sometimes I mean, we spent hours on these things, right? So of a 5-minute, 6-minute video might take me 12 hours of work to like compose the music, record the music, mix the music, all of that. So it can be quite an undertaking. But I will keep that in mind, a film festival. Yeah, and actually there are Cranky festivals. You'll see this if you check out Sue Truman or Catherine Fahey. Like, they have Cranky workshops, Cranky festivals. It's a whole thing. So it's a really fun thing. And I know that I think Sue's next thing is like a folk festival. Anyway, yeah, great collaboration. Oh yeah, what, right? Literary and visual. Y'all could have festivals. Oh yeah, and I need to send those women to you.
You know, one of the you were talking about people being engaged. Really, when you're watching, for me, when I'm watching a Cranky story, I can't look away. I mean, it really demands my attention. Yeah. So, which is good. I mean, that's a good thing.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm glad it doesn't put you to sleep.
No.
Well, they're short, they're, I don't know, accessible. I had never heard about the thylacine, but also, like, I'd heard of a dodo, But I loved doing that story and recording that actor. Like I enjoyed recording all of the actors, but to write the script and it only be in my head, but then to hear somebody else interpret my words, I mean, and it's always better, right? So the collaboration aspect is all around with a cranky. It can be, yeah, you can you can bust one out by yourself, but I think it's a wonderful collaborative tool too. And something I found for myself recently, it was the day before it was the day that I was going to record the most recent music for the most recent Cranky. And I was really in my head. And sometimes if we just do like a 5-minute creative something, right? It can kind of like, okay, now I'm in the mode, right? So I made this a very silly little reel on Instagram. I'd never made a reel before. So I just like, right? Spent like half an hour making this little reel, put it on Instagram. This thing exploded. Number one, it's like got 20,000 views. And I was like, what is happening? But it was just this small thing, this 5-minute thing that I made that didn't have anything to do with what I was about to do. So it's almost like when we have to create something that, you know, is our job, or create something that like I'm on a deadline, or just create something that maybe is not just for the joy of creating. I think you can make a Cranky, right? I've got to sit down and I've got to edit my novel. Okay, well, that sounds like the worst right now. So you could make a Matchbox Cranky, right? Just like it's another one of those small, or it can be small creative things just to get the juices flowing. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments for Alli? This has been so fun.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
That was thank you.
Our membership person could not be here, membership chair could not be here this evening, but you do have an honorary 1-year membership with WiVLA, which entitles you to all of the fabulous benefits of workshops and access to our Facebook group and calendar. So you can post events and whatnot on the calendar as well.
Awesome.
So Gail will, excuse me, Gail will be getting in touch with you soon. She emailed me and she was very disappointed she wasn't able to make it this
year. And you can read one of your stories in November.
I was gonna say, well, I could either read a story, but I could also sing a song.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I don't know how y'all feel about lyrics as literature.
I think, Alli, I think you bring so much to the table. I think, I think it would just really a shot of life for WiVLA for you to be part of the membership. So I'm tickled, and I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to stop talking. I'm done.
Well, but Alli, to your point, lyrics can be poetry and prose. I think it's two things going on, right? There's the melody and there's the lyrics. So yeah,
we've had songwriters and singers and musicians in the group before.
Yeah. So you're right at home here.
Thank you. Yes, and yeah, that's not to say that I did not feel welcome. I'm just messing.
Okay, as long as you're just messing, that's fine. Then you really fit in.
Well, you know, I'm sort of like, oh, I'm not a speaker. Let me sing it or play it for you.
God, that would have been awesome if you had some whole presentation. Anyway, maybe next year. So at this point, I'd like to open up the floor to members on announcements they have. I believe Gladys, you have an announcement?
I'm here. I was just not. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Wait, not now. You just muted yourself. Wait, Gladys, you just muted yourself.
There you
Thank
go.
you. I got it. Okay.
Okay.
I just emailed this to Melanie. Did you get it, Melanie?
Yes.
Well, on Saturday, October the 29th, I've written a new piece and I'll be reading a poem for a groundbreaking of a brand new park. It is called Bayside Regional Park, and it's in Bay Cliff, Texas, which it is on the sea. It's on this side of town, but it is going to be a brand new park. It's going to have just new facility, new little nature center, trails, birding, just a beautiful park. And so I've been asked to write, which I have, and to recite a poem, and it's entitled Groundbreaking. And so I would love for y'all to come out. I'm going to read at 10:30 and at noon. And so I ask you to come out. It's going to be Saturday, October the 29th. The whole festival is from 10 to 2. And so you can pop in at 10 and stay until whatever, and then come back, so there will be different nature activities there from folks from, let's see, the Master Naturalist will be there, the Houston Audubon Society, the Texas Park and Wildlife Department, Texas A&M Ag Department, and just a real fun day. Just come out and enjoy the day, and do visit the park. When I visited the park on July the 13th, because I wanted to get a feel of what I needed to write so that I could hopefully inspire and get folks that are going to be there to really take part and enjoy that beautiful park. And so I would love to see some faces out there. Again, it is October 29th, and the whole festival is from 10 to 2, but I'll be speaking at 10:30 and at noon. And the address is 4833 10th Street, Bay Cliff, Texas. And the name of the park is Bayside Regional Park.
So for all y'all who are not familiar where Gladys May lives, when she said this side of town, she lives in LaPorte. So it's not like
it's by the bay. It's from the down. It's from the south.
So well, that sounds cool. I like that. So thank you for sharing the times that you're going to be reading.
Yes, 10:30 and noon.
Okay, that's great. Okay, anybody else have anything? Yes, Ms. Margot.
If you keep calling me Miss Margot, I swear I'm gonna have to get a driver.
I know. I just, I'm not from the South.
Actually, I'm not too far from that. My roommates prefer to drive me instead of me driving myself. They're always saying
Miss Daisy.
they're always saying, they're always saying you shouldn't be driving. Okay, anyway, I'm performing in the Fringe Festival Sunday, November the 6th at 7 o'clock. And I think there's probably it's anything goes. So I think there are like eight performers or something. So the tickets will sell out. It will be at the Match.
Wow.
And Midtown Arts and Theater Center.
Okay.
My spoken word is not family friendly.
Oh,
There are some bad words and references to body parts, so don't be children. That's it.
Okay. Gladys May, thank you. Gladys May, would you do me a favor? I know you sent me a picture of this. Do you have an image of this that's better than like it?
I just have the flyer that I have. Is there a way I can make it? But
No. Okay, never mind.
Maybe I can get the committee to email me. Like if they could email this to me, would that be better?
I'd like to put it on the calendar.
Okay, I will try tonight if I get off early enough to see if I can text somebody, see if they could just, because it's on somebody's computer. I just got
Everything is everything starts out as ones and zeros. And same with you, Margot, to share this information on our calendar as well.
I
So
put
all
it on the
members,
calendar.
all members, okay, all members, just as a reminder, have the ability to post their events on our calendar. Okay. And Donna, you weren't here last month. I did mention our exhibition that's up at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in the Heights. So it's up for until at least December 10th, probably longer. So that's a great little outdoor exhibition, and we encourage everyone to walk around it. And you can call one of us and we'll meet you and have coffee across the street. So it's on the corner of Yale Heights and 19th Street. Anyone else? Yes. Yes. It's 19th.
Oh.
It's I live in the hood. It's yeah, no, 19th Street when it's east of Yale is like really short. So yeah, it's that little piece.
Just as across street from across
Okay, so who had yeah, okay, you guys keep raising your hand at the same time. Carolyn.
My husband makes pottery, and maybe about a year ago, or well, actually longer ago than that, when we had our first show, he makes pottery, and then I've been kind of decorating it or painting on it, which has been kind of fun. And recently we did 3 very large platters, and we've submitted them to shows, and one of them has been accepted at the Lancaster Museum of Art for their strictly functional show, it's called. So that will be up until the end, I think the middle of November, and that, but it's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so it's a little way away. But anyhow, we're having a lot of fun doing it, because it's not anything that I'm having to work so precisely and detailed like I might do with drawings or my fiber work. So it's kind of like I just take the pot and just paint whatever's in me at that time. So it's very loose and fun. And we will be showing some of the pieces in December at the Heights Artisan Market. Again, we did that last year too, but it's kind of fun collaborating with one's husband. So I didn't know if that would work.
It could go either way, Carolyn. It could.
One thing I've discovered with collaboration and things like that is if there's kind of a division of labor, which, you know, there's 2 types of collaboration. One is where you start in the very beginning with the concept, both of you working on it back and forth. And the other is just kind of reacting off each other's work. So I found with a husband, it's probably good to have a division of labor. So he makes the pot, I paint it, he fires it. So it works very well. And he's very generous. He allows me to ruin him totally. So
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania is really a nice area. Yes. Yeah, it's really close to the Amish area. And so, yes, I've been up there. So that's fabulous.
Well,
Jerry.
Let's see, I think it's Saturday night. Yes, Saturday night is Skyline Screamers that the Houston Storytellers puts on every Halloween.
Oh,
it'll be from 7:30 till the last teller tells. And it'll be 9 o'clock at the latest. Just bring a lawn chair, and I'm going to probably tell a story this year for the first time in ages.
Oh,
Liver and Onions. It's a New Orleans story about a naughty little girl that spends her mama's liver and onion money on something else, a comic book.
So is that this Saturday? Jerry, is that this Saturday?
Yes, it is. It's early this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It's a gazebo park. It's right on Heights Boulevard and 18th.
oh, that's it. So Yeah, that's between like 18th and 19th, right? It's and you can walk across the street to the church and see the exhibition that Donna and I were talking about.
To cross back over.
How perfect is that?
I wanted to say one thing too.
Uh-huh.
I'm part of the open studios that's going to be here at the Art Square Studios on Alameda.
Almeida?
Alameda. I'm tired.
Yeah.
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 So it's going to be from 12 to 4 on, or 1 to 4 on Saturday. You can see that I'm not ready. Since I live here, I can't escape. So, yeah.
Okay, so Silver Street, where my studio is having a fundraising event this Saturday from 5 to 9, benefiting star skaters. And they provide ice skating and sledding opportunities for disabled people. I'm not sure where in Houston we do that, but 15% of all of our sales for that night will be going to them.
Oh, that's good.
They're gonna have a silent auction. There's gonna be food and there's a bar and hopefully people buying art at the same time. So anyway, so that'll be going on as well. Anybody, it sounds like a lot of stuff is happening this month.
Oh,
Anyone-
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This month.
Yeah, for the rest of the year, I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty much booked like an over scheduled middle schooler.
Yep.
Okay, anything else?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
The collaboration, is it going to be family friendly? Like, so if I want to bring okay,
yes, from what I've seen, yes.
Oh, that's it.
Yes, yes, it is. And I believe it, I think, I can't remember, I haven't seen the prospectus in a long time, but I believe because of the venue, I think it was going to be family friendly, but it is. I've seen everything. It's a fabulous show. So I'm hoping that everybody can attend, catch the bus or carpool and come out there. We'll have, let me see, we'll have a meeting in November between now and then, and also some information in the newsletter. And speaking of the newsletter, I encourage y'all to have things going on in the month of November to send that information to newsletter@WiVLA.org. Because not everybody's here tonight. There's about 70 or so of us that aren't here. So I encourage you to share that information. And if there's nothing else, once again, Alli, I've lost you. There you are. Thank you once again for a wonderful presentation. You really do get the mind going, thinking about things that we can do. And I love this idea of the kids with the workshop. That sounds like a lot of fun. So with that, ladies, thank you so much for attending tonight's meeting. I look forward to seeing you again very soon and at some of these readings at our next meeting. So until then, have a wonderful time, be safe, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It was great.